Oh my goodness, the sound is on your computer. Horrible.
I'm sorry you didn't turn it off.
I swear I check every week and it's always off, and then the one time I don't check, here it is. I'm disgusted in myself and you.
Oh, okay.
What's happening, everybody? How's everybody doing? It's Sunday. We're here for Sunday Live with us.
With us.
With us. Did you prepare a report for today's topic?
I didn't know I needed to give a book report. I mean, I was present for the conversation, so I can.
Okay. Oh, look, we have a celebrity sighting. Binky is in the chat. That's my sister Binky.
We do have.
I mean, I'm assuming, unless there's another Binky.
There could be another Binky.
Yeah, because I don't know who this cat is in her.
And I see Lori in the chat. By the way, happy birthday, Lori! I did see that it was your birthday on the good old Facebook.
Oh, happy birthday! Happy birthday! Hello, Patty. What's happening?
The only Mama Talks right there.
Hello, hello. How are you? Glad to have all of you guys here today. Oh, well, we can't trust that it's the real you just because you say it's the real. Oh, ask me something I would only know about you. Okay, when we were growing up, who lived in the attic? Who lived in the attic of our house? Only Binky would know this.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, Cheryl snuck home to check on the cat. All right, cool.
Cheryl's in the midst of the worst repairs on the house. Those of you that don't know, Cheryl had some flooding, and it was pretty significant in her house. So we had to tear up all the flooring, and she had to move a whole bunch of crap, and herself, and her husband, and the cat out of the house for them to come in and do the repairs. Anyway, Cheryl, I hope you're hanging in there, sweetie.
All right, it is the real Binky. She correctly answered the question. Abby Dabby was the ghost that we...
you named
believed.
Abby Dabby?
Abby Dabby was a ghost that lived in our attic.
How old were you when you named her Abby Dabby?
Well, I don't think it was a her. I always thought of it as a male figure, although I don't know if we've ever discussed it.
Abby
Binky,
Dabby
what gender...
Abby sounds like a girl's
What
name.
gender was Abby Dabby? I don't know, but I think it was male. I never thought of it as being like Abby being a girl's name. So we'll have to see what my sister says. Maybe she'll think it's a girl. But
All right.
I don't know.
It is Patrick's birthday as well. I did see that on the Facebook. So if our biggest fan Simon is watching, please tell your husband Patrick happy birthday too.
Yes, hello. See, Binky felt like it was a male as well.
All
so
right. Well,
don't ask me where we came up with that name.
Abby
we were just like Abby
Abby's
Dabby.
a girl's name. I don't know.
But it was more like Abby Dabby. It wasn't. I don't know.
All right.
I don't know how to explain this because this is literally the first time in my life that I've ever been questioned about the gender of Abby Dabby, and it never occurred to me to think about it, other than it was a male ghost that lived in our attic. So,
all right, you weirdos.
I don't know, but I'm glad that we're on the same page, Binky.
And I see Dynasty's in the chat too. It's been a long time since Miss Di has been in the chat. I miss you.
Tommy says now we know your password.
Yeah. Bosco.
I've never used it as a password either. So where did the name Binky come from? That was actually, and Binky can correct me if I'm wrong, I believe our grandpa, Pop, Robert Stapleton, I believe he named her Binky while she was still in the womb. I'm pretty sure it was our grandpa that came up with that name.
And so that's the story as I've heard it from you anyway.
She always had that name, and I was always jealous because the closest thing I had to a nickname was just Kate. So, yeah. Anyway,
her real name is Jessica, for those that don't know.
Yes, Jessica. We call her Binky. Anyway, so it's been quite the week. We did a bunch of, we started to do a lot of work yesterday, and then we kind of hired some of it out. I was going to do some yard work, and I'm like, I don't want to. And so then we have somebody come like maybe once a year. And so they came and did all the yard work, so I didn't have to die in the hot sun.
Well, for the most part, our yard work is pretty minimal. We live in the desert. We have astroturf and dirt. But there are trees, and obviously and bushes, and you have to occasionally trim the bushes and the trees and weeds and all that kind of stuff. So we did get... it's been over a year since we trimmed. We have a lot of fruit trees in the backyard. It's pretty good landscaping for Vegas. But
we have a bunch of bushes. I mean, I paid $300, which I don't think is a crazy amount to pay to not have to what would have taken, it took 3 guys 2 straight hours of like solid work, and they do this all the time, so they're probably going way faster than I could have gone. So if I did it by myself, to do that job, it would have taken me at least a day and a half. Anyway, but yeah, we'll get more into like what we accomplished this week when we get to our, what we didn't accomplish this week when we get to our goals and stuff at the last part of the show. Because as usual, we have 3 parts of the show. The first part, we talk about, we look at our real numbers for the last week. We look at all the different platforms and our gross sales, and we break down some of those costs, like the cost of postage and the cost of goods, most importantly, and the fees and blah, blah, blah. And then the middle part of our show, we look at our sales highlights for the week, you know, good sales that we had, or interesting sales, or maybe educational. I had one that was, you know, was setting this up, and Vicky said, "Why are you showing that?" Because she was clearly...
Because I said it just like
she
that.
She said, "Why are you showing that?" Because she wasn't impressed. And I'm like, because my sales kind of sucked as far as like individual sales. Sometimes it's hard to find highlights when you have lots of kind of low dollar amounts. But last part of the show, we will go over like the goals that we set last week, any goals we have for this next week. But I actually think we should talk a little bit about our topic right at the top. And I was giving Vicky a hard time because she actually, unlike me, I'm a slacker. I like to do my own thing. She actually participates in the seller check-in.
I not only participated, but I hosted a room, a networking room, which I usually do. I think I've only missed one in the last 2 years. Hosting a networking room is something they ask you to do if you are a quote-unquote leader in the seller community. A lot of times it's people that run meetups or do different things within the eBay seller community. And I do run the Las Vegas meetup here, albeit fairly irregularly, I will say. I have committed to doing quarterly meetups, and so far this year, knock on wood, we've got another one coming up in a couple weeks that I just scheduled. So
bowling.
I've managed to maintain. We did a bowling meetup the last time, which was almost 3 months ago, and it was fantastic. We had a great time. The thing about it, I host most of the meetups here in our home, or we host them in our home because we have a big enough home to do so. The reality is that we're a very loud group, and it always ends up being inside and outside, which is great, except in the summer.
So hot.
You know, it is just like, let's face it, it's going to be 100 to 110, 120
We're getting record
degrees
heat this year.
Yeah, so it's going to be that. So it's not comfortable doing it outside. If I had a pool, I would make it a pool party, like a, you know, cookout pool party, the whole thing. But we don't. So I just decided we're going to just do another bowling one because there were plenty of people that weren't able to come that want to come, and we had a great time at the bowling meetup. So we're going to just do another bowling meetup. It's nice and air conditioned. Bowling is a nice activity where you're not going to die in the desert.
But so they had the seller check-in this week, which again, I didn't participate in because I was like, whatever. And so, but one of the things we've talked about over this last year, especially Vicky, is issues around feedback and getting bad feedback, and the normal processes that used to be there for you to be able to get feedback removed have kind of gone away. And I'm sure if you haven't experienced yourself, you've probably seen it around social media, people talking about, you know, unfair feedback, and not being able to get it removed no matter what they tried. And you had some serious issues with that. But...
I did. I've had 9 negative feedbacks this year alone, which is probably, I used to get 1 a year, maybe 2 a year. Occasionally I would get a 3rd or a 4th, and those were always, you know, the BS ones. You could get them thrown out and taken off. So I haven't had 100% feedback in quite a while, but I'm always like 99 point something. Yeah. 1 or 2, it's fine. I can live with that. It's no big deal. I got slammed with 9 so far this year.
Well, and you had some that were very obviously ones that were not right. And
right.
weren't fair. And
so, and unfortunately, the way that they've changed the feedback process, there is no way to petition these. You can ask the buyer to reverse them, but usually if a buyer is an all-out jerk and they're leaving it for unfair reasons, you're not going to get them to reverse your feedback. Doesn't even matter. They just put it there for spite. They don't care. So, you know, I went through the processes. I did all the things. I asked for an appeal. I sent an email. And I actually had 3 or 4. I had 4 eBay employees that are friendly with me. 2 that you know, I had 4 of them actually reach out without me asking them, because I don't pull those cards. They reached out to me after seeing my rant about the feedback. And reached out to me and asked and said that they were working behind the scenes to try and help me and get a few removed here or there. Yeah. And the thing is that they were not able to. And we're talking high-level employees.
Well, and then they're doing this weird thing where they'll be like, okay, we'll remove what they said. Like if they say something like they cuss in it or say some do whatever, we'll remove what they said, but we'll still leave the feedback there, which almost is worse sometimes because sometimes it helps to have whatever ridiculous thing the buyer says.
Your reply goes too. So
Right.
you can't even, so, it is what it is, whatever. I'm operating at 98.3% feedback right now, which is pretty ridiculous.
So what happened to seller check-in?
So at Seller Check-In, they made a big deal about feedback being a topic of discussion, and we were going to talk about feedback. So Andrea Stairs did a session talking about feedback. Now, what I expected to be said was I had heard through the rumor mill and through some of the people working through eBay that many of the changes surrounding feedback have to do with some type of laws that have been passed about the fair sales doctrine. I don't know the exact verbiage, and I apologize if I'm not saying it properly, but it basically had to do with they couldn't pick and choose what they were going to help people with, and sometimes they would help sellers that had relationships with people at eBay, or people would know the right way to call or what have you. And because of that, sellers with better records were getting feedback removed, or sellers that had concierge service had access to get it removed. But not every seller had an equal platform to do that. Now, while I understand that about equity and fairness and that everybody should have equal access to having the feedback removed, and that wasn't always the case, I totally do understand that. Feedback, as we know, it's just an antiquated system, but let's just throw that out. They're not getting rid of feedback anytime soon, so we have to deal with it as it is. The thing about it is that feedback is subjective, right? And it's all about the buyer's experience. Okay, well, this is what they said their experience was. Well, there are certain times where feedback is not black and white, and it is a gray area, and it does need a certain person to read the history behind it, read your recap of what happened, read the feedback, look at the transaction, and then make a judgment call. And that's what we used to be able to do, is have them do that. And that is, that ability was taken away by, across the board. So in doing that, there's been a huge pushback from sellers because sellers are seeing tons of negative feedback now. And I'm not sure what the reasoning is behind that, whether buyers are just cranky. Everybody's cranky in the world. There's part of it, I'm sure. Expectations are higher. People are just, I don't know. I don't know what the reasoning is behind it, because I've received more than I've ever before, and no, I've not changed. I'm a good seller, right? So anyway, all of that to say that I fully expected them to tout out their reasoning behind the feedback change and say this is the way it is going forward, and, suck it up, too bad, so sad.
Get used to it.
Get used to it. I really expected them to say that, because that is generally what happens when they make a change that sellers don't like. It is what it is. If they even address it after the fact, they will say that. Now, here's the thing. That's not what happened. So, they do recognize, and according to the speech that Andrea gave, they do recognize that there has been pushback. They do recognize that this is a bit unfair. They are hearing about our pain points. They are stating that they heard us, basically, and they said they're going to make some changes. Now, they did not specify what those changes are. They did not go into depth or into detail about how they're going to reverse some of this or fix some of this pushback, but they did acknowledge that it was an issue and they were going to make some changes. Mm-hmm. We'll see what that means. I got rid of, Allison, I don't have concierge either. I don't know if you were watching a few months ago. I did mention that concierge as a whole has been eliminated. Concierge was eliminated last year for everyone. You still may show that you have it, and you may still get a person to call you back or respond to you, but true concierge, the entire concierge team that actually worked as a whole, does not exist. They phased it out in general. And I think that has to do with part of what they did, some of the changes they made surrounding feedback. It hasn't been removed from everyone's dashboard yet, but I have confirmation from within, from the people that used to run that department, that it doesn't exist. So unless you are an Anchor store subscriber, you have Anchor support, which is different from concierge. Mm-hmm. So it's gone.
So I don't know. We'll see what happens with the feedback.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is just, which we have zero update for, other than, we've been talking the last 2 weeks now about the issue with search, and that as it stands now, the only thing, if for a regular buyer who is just doing a regular search and doesn't think to toggle to advanced search, if they are searching on eBay, it is only searching your title and the preset item specifics, not stuff you type in, not your description. which is different than it used to be because I would use, themes to add in keywords if I didn't have enough room in my title. And it would be keywords that were accurate for the thing I was selling. It wasn't like I was just throwing in a bunch of random crap. And that as of very recently has just stopped working. And we still, as of yet, just to give you an update, have no idea why that is. As Vicky said last week, she is going to be going to San Jose in August. And we've got a couple of people that are, working on trying to figure out, because we just want to know, like, is this on purpose? Is this a new thing? Because I think even more than the feedback thing, I think this is kind of a huge thing because it really does hurt search and our ability to add in things to help people find our stuff.
Especially people that sell items that are not brand new, that are not current, that don't have UPCs, they're not replenishables. People that sell, vintage, not just vintage, but people that sell vintage items, you rely very heavily on those descriptors. So in any case, I would like to, open this up to, don't put it in the chat because I'm not going to be able to see everything while we're doing the show.
Comments after.
Put it in the comments. If there's something specific that you want me to bring to eBay's attention, not account specific stuff. I cannot get into your account specific stuff with anybody. But if there's something specific that you want me to bring to eBay, I've started a notebook where I've made a bunch of notes about certain things I'd like to bring up if I have the ability to. I will be meeting with different teams there, and I know that there is some ability to talk with people, and I definitely I'm not shy. I have no problem bringing things up, and they want to hear these pain points. Liz will be the first person to tell you. Liz does even more than I do with eBay corporate and things like that. When you're given the opportunity to ask these questions or to make your concerns heard in person, it makes a big difference. So if there's something specific you have a question on that has to do with the site, with the functionality, with search, with whatever, leave a comment below and I will make it a point to bring up the most popular concerns if I'm able to.
So make sure you comment search.
That's already written down.
I'm kidding, because the thing is, like, I'm going to wrap this up, but the thing is, especially in fashion, which is what I sell in, trends are constantly changing, and so keywords are constantly changing. So I mentioned last week, like the eclectic grandpa, and there's grandma core, granny core, any of the other cores that are popular right now. Like that stuff changes and stuff goes away, and new words and new terminology appear. And then, like, one of the things with brands, in the drop-down menu, there's a lot of brands in there, but for some reason, like maybe a year or two ago, Screen Stars disappeared. So I manually type in Screen Stars for the brand. Well, since it doesn't pre-populate and it's not already there, that means unless I have Screen Stars in the title, and there are some people who want to search vintage t-shirts specifically by the brand, but I don't necessarily want to have to put it in the title. So whatever.
No Colorado trip planned for the foreseeable future, Allison, but you are always welcome.
Yeah. Anyway, so we'll wrap that up, but that was like our title. So see, look, you did such a good job reporting back. Even though I didn't tell you there was an assignment. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get into our regular show and get this party started. And we'll start with our numbers here. So let me share the screen. Now, like I was saying, we talked last week about summer slowdown, and maybe it's starting a little bit. I don't know. I feel like I'm still getting regular sales. My total number of orders last week, I almost hit 50. My ultimate goal is to one day actually hit the 70 mark at least once, because I am listing 10 items a day every single day on eBay, so 70 new listings every week. I want to see if I can get to that balance, which, numbers wise, I should get there eventually if I continue to go this way.
I mean, that's the ideal rate, right? You want to have 100%
selling nirvana rate. Or whatever.
Selling nirvana. You want to sell as much as you list.
So, because otherwise I'm just going to keep building my inventory, but I need to be selling at a higher rate. So I had an okay week. I'm down, like, I think my total gross is down a couple $100 from last week. But I'm still doing all right for, now we're in June. If you remember last year in 2023, I don't even know if I had a single week where I hit 1,000 on eBay gross sales. So definitely what I've been doing has been working for me, and it's going to be really interesting to see what happens throughout the summer. But I had 29 eBay orders, 8 Etsy orders, 4 Poshmark orders, and then 8 between Grail, Mercari, and Depop. Nothing private. 49 outgoing orders. My eBay gross, $1,340.02. Etsy's been real sad. I had those 8 orders, but they were all really small. Like nothing significant. $251.87. Poshmark, meh, 165, and then Girl McCurry and Depop together, 341. So it's like those, those three platforms, they're so minor, but at the same time, the three of them together, it really doesn't take me that long to add listings to those platforms.
And it's still, we still both use List Perfectly. I still encourage you, no matter what you're doing, you need to be cross-posting to other platforms.
100%.
eBay is not the be-all and end-all anymore, and there is not one single platform that is going to reach everyone.
No, not at all. So my total gross sales, $2,097.89. You can see my shipping, $174.03. My fees broken down there, and then my cost of goods, $130. My total net sales, $1,529.92.
Man, our numbers are so close this week. It's scary.
And then my gross average sale price, $42.81. I would love to be able to hit 50, but honestly, like at this point, with the changes I've made in my business, I'm just not going to have a huge ASP anymore. So if anything above 40, I'm going to be happy with. My net average sale price, $31.22. So I'm going to say I did okay. For summer sales, it's okay. I'd love to be able to see things keep growing, but I'm just going to keep my head down and keep working at it.
I don't think I'm ever going to see $4,000 or $5,000 a week in sales again.
Yeah, I don't know.
Personally, I just don't see it happening again. But anyway, moving on. Mine is almost exact as yours. In fact, your net sales were higher than mine.
Were they? I don't remember now.
Just a little bit. So 28 eBay orders, 6 on Etsy, 8 on Poshmark. I had 1 Depop order to Macari for a total of 45 orders for the week. 1443 on eBay, 270 on Etsy, 277 on Poshmark, 114 between the Macari and Depop sales for a total of 2104, let's call it. Not a great week at all. So my shipping, you can see the breakdown, $197 shipping, and then my total cost of goods, yours was $130, mine was $131.
Well, I mean, it is an estimate to a certain degree.
It's not for me. I actually add them up.
Well, I do. I'm just saying, like, do you remember every single thing you bought to the dollar amount?
Yes. I mean, I know when I purchase something from the bins and I know the weight, so I can.
I know. I'm just saying.
I actually do those calculations.
I do as well. I'm just saying, to a certain degree.
I'm like, I bought this from that place. That was $4 an item.
To a certain degree, there is an estimation.
Anyway, so my total net sales, $1,507. Gross average sale price, $46.75. Net average sale price, $33. Not great. I mean, if you add our two sales, our sales together for the week, of course, it doesn't look that bad. Both of us selling $4,300 gross a week is not terrible. But it's June. It is what it is. I'm going to keep working. Got a lot done this week, and we'll talk about that at the end of the show. But just plugging along. It's my birthday next week, so we're not going to be...
It's your birthday.
It's my birthday.
I don't know. It's like we had a conversation the other day where we're talking about, like, we need to figure out how to cut some of our costs down and stuff like that. We're doing okay, and we're trying to get there, but anyone who's watched our show for an extended period of time knows that these numbers used to be drastically different, and I'm not giving up yet, or have any plans of giving up, but
they were double.
It's like sometimes you have to make changes, you have to make adjustments, you have to think about, like, what can you do? And like I was just saying at the beginning of the show, I spent $300 today to have all of our yard work done. But at the same time, it's like, okay, we live in an HOA. Like, I generally am able to keep up with it, and our HOA actually isn't too bad, but there have been a couple of times where, like, oh, this is growing at the base of this tree and it needs to be fixed. So there's certain things that we have to keep on top of, and I have to think about, like, okay, I could spend a day and a half doing all this work, or 2 days probably doing all this work myself and want to kill myself, or I could spend those 2 days getting work done and actually focusing on my work. And to me, it's like, it's worth the trade-off. But
so Karen said it's harder to find high dollar stuff. To be honest with you, it's not any more difficult for me than it ever was for finding and sourcing inventory. And Katie is the same way. There is no shortage of great inventory for me, and no shortage of me being able to find it at reasonable prices. It's just the sell-through is not there anymore, and then the buyers have diminished. So it is what it is. Tommy, I am exactly like you. I can remember exactly where I got something, even if it's 2 years ago, and what I paid for it. But I don't know what I had for dinner last night. Totally Totally know that.
Liz says, please just text John that info. So real quick, Bonnie, when's your trip to Gatlinburg? We're actually not going to be going to Gatlinburg. And we'll just touch on this very quickly, exactly what I was just talking about. We just looked at the numbers, and honestly, things like Southwest doesn't fly there. There were a lot of things where we realized it was going to cost a lot of money for us to go for a relatively short trip.
It was basically a long weekend, which, don't get me wrong, if you live close enough and you can go, please go. I think it's going to be a blast. I'm going to have total FOMO. But the reality is we would have had to pay out of pocket for flights, and the accommodations were a little bit spendy, and I wasn't sure if that was going to be actually a good area for us to source in. So we were looking at least $2,500 out of pocket for 4 days before we even factored in sourcing or shipping anything home. Most of the time, you'll hear about us, we do lots of sourcing trips. Most of the time, our sourcing trips are way less expensive than that. So we fly everywhere on Southwest for free. This place didn't have any Southwest Airlines. We're nowhere near it. Yeah. We usually get an Airbnb or an inexpensive something that we're sharing with other people, and it's, maybe a few $100s to go and do the type of things that we've been doing beforehand. And it was just too pricey for what it was, and I'm gonna regret it when everyone's there and having a great time. But I just could not justify that expense.
Well, I'm the jerk in this relationship where I was basically like, we can't go. Like, we've got all these trips that we have to do, and we just can't justify. So, and that's the thing. It's like when you're living in a different time, when you have to make things make sense. You have to look at all those things, and it's like, a normal sourcing trip that we do, the costs, we're able to cut those costs way, way, way down.
Our normal sourcing trips, our usual out-of-pocket is the sourcing and the shipping and inexpensive lodging.
Yeah.
So this didn't fit that criteria for us. And again, if profits were where they were 2 years ago even, or if we were doing the sales that we were doing 2 years ago, we would have gone no problem just for fun. So I definitely want to go at some point. I've always wanted to go to Gatlinburg. I've always wanted to go to Dollywood. It'll happen. It just wasn't going to happen for this one.
Sarah says the same thing. I had to cancel Gatlinburg due to money.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And it's like, we already have in July, Vicky's going to be gone for 10 days. In August, she's going to California. And then we have another trip that we have to do. It's like there's always a bazillion things that we're doing.
I know, stupid, reasonable adult decisions were made. That's exactly what happened. We had to adult, Liz.
And the other part of that, Vicky does have FOMO, and she also doesn't know how to say no. And so when she was asked, she was the one that accepted to do this trip, and she just was like, "Oh, that sounds really fun. It'll be amazing. Let's do it." Yes. And at the time, we didn't know about the flights issues and all this stuff, and it's just like, we just can't. Anyway, all right, let's get into the next part of our show, looking at our sales highlights.
Adulting is disappointing.
It is. Okay, let me switch over here. What do you got going on here? What's this fancy thing?
This is just a simple jumpsuit. This was a bins find, and I got this in, I believe I got this just recently when we were in Dallas. So I probably paid $3 or $4 for it. It's under 2 pounds, and it's sold within a week of being listed. And I just wanted to say that a lot of times, like anything that I sell, almost anything I sell, brand is irrelevant. It's all about making it look cute and being able to style it and being able to put it on a mannequin so that people can see how it looks. And jumpsuits are really trendy right now, and vintage jumpsuits are really cool. That's a very cool looking utility jumpsuit. This could be shown in Anthropologie right now. And so it works as a fashion look. So,
all right,
that's it.
Oh, wait, what happened?
Wait, that's me too.
Oh no, I think I forgot to do the back and forth.
I'll do mine all over.
That's all right.
Then.
I can do it. Nope, I can do it.
Never mind.
Anyway, my first one is this awesome Lone Star State Texas crop top. Now I do have a lot of things on here today that I did not make a lot of money on, and I did not even sell this for the $41.99. But for one thing, I do want to show how if you can source your stuff cheaply, you can actually make some decent money just on volume. And this shirt I got in when we were in Dallas. It actually had like a big stain on it at the bottom that was not cute, like not in a way that some stuff I can sell stained and it's fine. And so I decided with this one I was just going to cut the bottom off. and sell it as a
And
crop
you
top.
made it a crop
and
top.
I made it a crop top, and I sold it. I actually accepted an offer for $24, but remember now I am charging shipping, so I got $30 for it, and it didn't sit around for too long. And look how cute it is.
And you probably have 75 cents into it.
You know how many? Yes, I paid because theirs is even cheaper. Their bins is cheaper. I sold 3 crop tops this week.
It's a look.
It's very popular right now.
That's
one of the things when we were at that pop-up last weekend. There were a lot of tiny shirts, a lot of crop tops, tank tops. It's all about the tiny tops.
Spend some time around the youngins and see what they're wearing.
The utes, indeed. All right.
Left all the way over.
I know this one right here.
Nope.
This one right here.
Yeah. Thank you for previewing and showing all
No
of my
problem.
shit first. Appreciate it.
Shh.
Okay, so this is a plus size dress that actually came from my Florida haul of the plus size clothing. So this came from Robin and Joe. This sold for the price you see there, $62.97.
Nice.
It's just a basic. It's a pretty dress with a great 70s colorway and pattern. Again, it's really nice to find good plus size items that are good vintage, fashionable items because people are going to scoop them up. Listen, people are fluffy all over, and people were fluffy
True.
then too. The problem is that they didn't have a lot of great fashionable stuff in larger sizes. So when you do find something fashionable and vintage in a larger size, you definitely want to capitalize on that market. And this stuff has been selling very quickly for me. So I'm about $4 into it.
Tommy, I actually would love to see you in a crop top. I think it'd be awesome. I don't care what anyone says.
So I paid $4 and it sold
Nice.
for $63.
That's a pretty good deal right there.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the one that Vicky said, "Why are you showing that?" And she said
Yes,
just like
because
that.
I said it just like that. Because I do the Paris Hilton vocal fry all the time when I'm talking. Oh my God.
So, I had bought a t-shirt lot off of eBay for like $150, or not $150, 150 t-shirts in a lot for $300. So the price was $2 a piece. And it is very difficult to find any decent vintage tee lots on eBay these days. It's not overpriced and full of crap. And so I got this 150 t-shirts, and honestly, there were a lot of condition issues, a lot of like staining and stuff like that, but I didn't care because they're cool shirts. I would say of the 150, there were maybe 10 t-shirts in there where I was like, ugh, I wish I didn't get these. And they were like $2 a piece. And one of them was this army shirt. And I actually got 3 of them. I got a medium, a large, and an extra large. And I'm like, ugh, I guess I'm just going to list them anyway.
My high school boyfriend was in the Army, and I had one of these shirts in the 90s, and I wore it all the time.
See, she does talk like that, you guys. She totally just did it.
I did it on
My high school boyfriend. Anyway, I can't believe you're showing that. So I had 3 of these army shirts. I'm like, ugh, I don't even want to waste time on these. And guess what were some of the first things to sell? I actually sold 2 of these this week. And I sold them both for the price you see there, the $23.99 plus the $6 shipping. I paid $2 a piece for these, and I already sold 2 of them. I'm not showing this one, but I even sold a Faded Glory, which those of you who know, Faded Glory is a freaking Walmart brand. I sold a Faded Glory t-shirt that just had, all it was a brown shirt with a stripe across it. It had a bleach mark on the back, and I sold it within 2 days of listing it for $15 plus the $6 shipping. Okay. I can't believe it was like one of the fastest things to sell that I've listed so far out of that grouping of stuff. And it's a freaking Walmart shirt. And so after fees and everything, I made like maybe $10, but that's a pretty good deal. Oh, Jen is proud of me. Thanks, Jen. I mean, it feels like a waste of time, but my process is pretty fast now to where, and I am seeing that even though I'm selling stuff for a lot cheaper, because of the volume, I'm actually bringing in some more monies. Liz, I can't believe you said that. Okay, shut up. All right, you are next.
No, the second one.
Quit yelling at me.
God,
I messed
awful.
it up. You're awful. You're awful.
Okay, so this is the only thing that I had purchased from the Consignment Chat's charity auction that they did for the Fearless Living Fund. Last week I showed you the sale of the purse that I won in the raffle because I made the purchase. Well, this was the purchase that I had made. This was like $22 delivered. And it's dead stock. It's new inside the box, and I had to open up the box just to make sure it wasn't broken, all that kind of stuff. So I paid like $22 delivered to get this to me, and I listed it, and it was listed for like 3 days, and I took an offer for $60. I had it listed for $69.95, and buyer paid shipping, and they were just in Washington, so it actually cost me just about $8 to ship. Yeah, so, we all know a certain Pyrex is worth money. This particular Pyrex wasn't anything super fantastic. It was just that it happened to be dead stock, and it's from the 70s, late 70s, early 80s.
Do you not have a picture of it out of the box?
No. Why frickin' bother? There was too much to unwrap.
Oh,
it's sold anyway.
I know.
You can see what it looks like on the box.
I'm aware. I'm like looking at it, I'm like, did something get, like, did some pictures accidentally not get uploaded?
And there's a million of them shown not in the box. So what the hell do you need me to show it for you for?
I just think it's funny. That's all. Come on, guys. Back me up here. Also, Liz says that it's me that does the vocal fries. You can hear it, and it's what happens when you become a posh twat like me.
Oh, so, see, that must be what it is.
Anyway. No, I think it's an awesome sale. I'm looking at it going like, okay, where's the rest of the pictures?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a huge flip. Like I said, $22. I bought it because I knew I could flip it and at least double my money, and it would sell fairly quickly. And I was obviously just trying to support my friends doing their charity auction for Diana, our other friend. So
yeah.
It ended up working out well for me because I think I spent only that $22 in that whole auction. And that $22 turned into a $60 sale here and a $180 sale for the purse last week.
Nice.
So, karma's real, right?
Nice work. All right. Next up for me is this Woolrich Wool Shacket. Now, I believe I got this at the bins. I did not sell it for the price you see there, and I've had it listed for a while. I can see because if you know, like all my new listings start with vintage, so this is one that's not been updated yet, so it's been up for quite a number of months at least. It's not a very exciting one. It's just plain red, and there are plenty of them out there that sell for way too cheap. So I actually did accept an offer for $65, so it was $65 plus shipping. I was just happy to get it the heck out of here because you know what? My new philosophy, guys, I don't want it sitting around. I don't want to do the set it and forget it or whatever it is and have stuff sitting around for years. It's stupid. Like when I realize the stuff that I've had sitting in my inventory for years, it's just dumb.
Well, especially when if you don't change the listing and the title and all that kind of stuff and relist items, they really do become super stale and they just sit there forever.
Yeah.
So...
And it's just like, how many times do I need to mess with this listing? It's like, come on, it's time to move on.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next up for you.
This one I have had for quite a bit. I've probably had this one for about a year. This was just a really pretty rayon dress. It's basically what you see there. I did find this one at the bins, but I've had it for a little bit. And it's a nicer one. It's really pretty. It looks kind of like a Laura Ashley style dress. It is not. It's Pier 1 imports when they actually sold clothing, overpriced clothing. But it's pretty, and it's kind of a classic 90s look with that rayon type of dress. And it had that nautical shawl collar, and it sold for the price you see there. I probably had it for about a year, though. Would I have accepted a lower offer? Absolutely. Have I sent offers on it? 1,000,001 times. So,
yeah. Allison says, today's lesson, list shit you don't think will sell and take a couple of subpar photos.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
All right. Next up for me, this is probably my best sell. My best sell. What's wrong with me? Am I regressing?
I think
my
you
best
are.
sell. My best sale of the week is this awesome t-shirt that I did pick up when we were in Colorado last fall.
I remember.
So I paid I got it at a thrift store. I paid at an ARC thrift store. I paid probably about $5. I found a bunch of really cool vintage tech t-shirts. And I love this one in particular. I love the graphic on it. And it sold for the price you see there, $83.99 plus $5.95 shipping. So again, I paid $5 for it, and I made really good money on it. So I still got it, guys. I still got it. But this really is my highest dollar sale this week. I did not have very big ones at all. I had a lot of just small, mediocre sales. And
why are you not closing them out after?
Because if I do, okay, woman, let it go. A mistake was made prior to the show. It's over. We have to see it through to the end.
Oh, my God.
Don't worry about it, woman. All right. Anyway, that's it. Your next one is right here. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. Sassafras.
All right. So I'm pretty sure I showed this in a haul video. This actually also came from Florida, from Robin. And this was a dead stock cabana shirt in terry cloth, as you can see. It had some discoloration on it. But I guarantee whenever the person gets it and they just wash it, it was just age spots or something. It's terry cloth. It's like a towel. It comes clean very easily. But it had the tags, and I didn't want to take the tags off. So it sold within a week also. It rolled into a sale, and it sold for the price you see there. I paid on average $4 per item for these. So it sold within a week for $91 plus shipping.
Very nice.
Now, a few years ago, I would have priced that much higher and held on to that and waited to get $150 on it, and I probably would have. But right now,
not worth it anymore.
Sell it.
Yep. All right. Here. Hold on a second here. Bam. 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 All right. My next one here is this Paradise Found Hawaiian shirt. These are always worth picking up. Now, this is not the most popular one. Victoria, why don't you share with the class? What is the one that you really want to look for?
The Magnum PI one, which has the parrots, and it's red.
Yes. It looks very similar to this, the style and everything.
And it has the rainbow tag like this does.
Yep. So this is the tag, and but it's a red one. And you'll see, when you see that one, you'll see the prices all over the place, but you can get pretty decent money for it. But the other ones go for a decent amount as well. And I sold this one. I didn't have it listed for a crazy amount of time, just a couple of months. And I sold it for $44.09 on the old Etsy.
And where'd you pick it up?
I picked it up, I think, at the bins or a thrift store. So maybe I paid a couple bucks for it, $2 to $5. So.
All right.
Oh, Allison just got the Magnum one this week for $2.
See, that's a solid $50 to $60 shirt. More if it's bigger.
Mm-hmm.
If it's bigger than like a 2XL, you'll get more money for it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's skip ahead here to yours. Sorry, chewing on a little bit of ice.
All right, so I know I showed this in a haul video when I found it. This was definitely a bins buy for me as well. I believe I got this in Colorado at the bins, so I paid probably around $2 for it. And I remember one of our viewers reaching out and saying they had sold one in the same pattern and thought it had been handmade because they didn't find any others like it. And clearly it's not handmade if I had the same one in the same pattern. Right. So it could have been anywhere. But super cute. And I really liked the pattern, and I've always had a lot of interest in this since I've had it listed. It just took a while to sell it. It was a medium. It wasn't even like extra small or small. So a medium is a good solid size. But it sold. It finally sold. $91. And I've probably had this listed for a good 6 to 9 months now. But
very nice. Very nice. Okay, so next up for me, as I said, I sold like 3 crop tops this week. This is another one. I believe I got this at yesterday's Fits. He had like a pile of $2 stuff, and I snatched it up, but I sold this for $40. I sold this to the same person that also ordered I don't know if you guys remember, I had it was The Shining, the horror movie. Mm-hmm. It was a crop top. It was not vintage. It was just a cheapo shirt that somebody had cut off, and I sold that one for $15. But they bought them separately. They should have asked me to do a bundle because they had to pay like $8-9 shipping on each one. So because Grail gives you the label now, so they bought this one for $40 and the Shining one for $15, but I didn't have to buy labels. And they went to Hawaii. So
all right.
But they're both crop tops, so there you go.
I do think that Paradise Found or some brand still makes that Magnum shirt, but it's not going to be made in Hawaii, and it's not going to have that vintage rainbow label. I agree with you, Allison. But I have seen newer ones for sure.
Yeah. All right.
This, those of you that were on the cruise may recognize this. I did pull this out and wear this for 60s night or 70s night that we had on the cruise. And it's, it just also came from Florida. I feel like the woman that wore this bought the other shirt that I just showed, the cabana shirt, to wear and match with her husband. Oh. And then the husband said, I'm not wearing that shit, because it still had the tags on it, but hers had clearly been worn. Because it matched exactly One was Jansen. This was Lane Bryant. Again, anything vintage Lane Bryant, anything that's 70s and previous from Lane Bryant has a huge collectible following. And I've sold the majority of the stuff already that was labeled Lane Bryant, and for some good money. This actually sold 24 hours after I listed it. I took an offer for $95 on this. And it's just a big terry cloth cover up. I had put like my fanny pack on as a belt.
Fanny pelt.
My fanny pack on as a belt. Oh, thanks, Vanessa. As a belt, because it really was pretty large, and I had to wear a shirt under it because the armholes were pretty big, and you would have had a whole lot of side boob nobody wanted to see. Anyway. However, I really love terry cloth cover-ups from every era. Terry cloth cover-ups sell for great money. You very rarely find them in a pattern that is this fantastic, though.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
So, $95 and sold within 24 hours of listing it.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Next up, this is my second best sale of the week, and I was actually pretty excited about this one. That's cute. This is one of the better shirts I got in that 150 t-shirt lot. And so, again, I paid $2 per shirt.
So you're well in the black at this point from that lot already.
I'm probably pretty close. The thing is, I haven't listed a lot of it because it was all, a lot of it had condition issues, a lot of white shirts that were stained. And so that's going to be in this whole batch that I'm listing right now because I didn't have a chance. I only just recently had a chance to go through and wash and bleach everything. So a lot of it hasn't even had an opportunity to get purchased. But yes, I would say I've probably made at least a couple $100 off of that $300 purchase. So this is not a vintage shirt. This is from 2017, but it's a really, really great graphic with the Looney Tunes, Wile E. Coyote, and the Roadrunner. And so get out of here. And so I priced it up because I don't think I could find any that were available anymore. And
it's cute.
The one, I think I had seen one that sold for like $80 somewhere. And so I priced it up and somebody offered me $70. And again, now Grailed, they paid for the shipping and they provide me the label. And so I sold it for $70. I paid $2 for it. So I was happy to let it go quickly. It was up for maybe a couple of days.
It's really cute. It's a good graphic.
Yeah, I love it. All right. Next for you.
Okay, so this was a bins sale. This was a bins buy, I should say. Now, what I wanted to bring out is that this is not even close to, like, in fantastic shape, right? So I want to show, like, it's missing some fringe in different spots, and there's
staining.
A huge discoloration in the leather. And so I was very clear about the condition issues. In fact, I actually bought, and I've only done this one other time, I bought a brown suede stain, hoping that I could patch those spots up myself before listing, and I did try to do that, and it did not really work. So I didn't want to throw it away because it was this nice vintage jacket anyway, and I still think it could have worked well. And to be fair, it's not, I mean, it's visible, but it's, it's broken in, right?
Yeah.
So I did take an offer on this. It did not sell for $200. I took an offer on it and it sold for $120.
Nice.
And I probably paid $7 or $8 based on weight because it is a little heavy. But don't be afraid to list damaged items if they're good items.
Yeah.
It's really.
Alistair remembers you wearing that terry cloth cover up.
There was
she
recalls
side boob.
She saw the side boob. She's full of crap. I was wearing a tank top under it.
You'll know. All right. Next one for me. This was actually a decent sale as well. And I don't know if Jen Brigadale, are you still in the chat? I think maybe I got this from you. If you could verify that. If I did get it from Jen, then I paid $5 for it. I love it. It's awesome because it's kind of like a Harley tee, but it's actually a Jesus tee. And so it's got like a Bible verse on it. It says "Mount up," and it's a Christian biker tee. So, but I've had this up for
Bikers for Jesus.
I think I would have listed this like towards the end of last year, so it's been up for a little while. But I sold it for $63, and again, I didn't have to pay for the shipping. The label was there for me, and so it was a really good deal. So this is a great kind of crossover of like the Jesus tee and the biker tee. Oh, I didn't get it from Jen. So actually, I might have. If I didn't get it from Jen, then I probably got it. I probably got Allison. Knock it off. I probably got it at the bins then. It might have been a bins find. So regardless, I did not pay more than $5 for it, as I'm not really paying up for t-shirts anymore. So it was still a very, very good flip. So, all right. Are you composed?
No.
Are you composed?
It just made me laugh so hard. And she's back.
Back. Go ahead.
All right. So this is just to show that I don't always sell just vintage stuff. I do occasionally sell stuff that has brands that people recognize. This is a new with tags, and it may or may not even be Y2K, to be fair, because I found two of them. I found one in black and one in beige. And I paid, like, they were bins prices, but they were new with tags, both of them. Now, they had older tags on them, and they were probably Dillard's clearance, because I didn't pay very much for them at all. And they had the yellow tag on it that looks like they were probably Dillard's clearance. Maybe somebody bought them for $1.99 or $2.99 and then decided they didn't fit, and they eventually got donated. Whatever. Anyway, Tommy, you shut your mouth. Anyway, so I probably only paid like $2 for this at a bins price, and it sold also within a couple of weeks of being listed for $59. Not fantastic, but Free People in general does not really have the rate of return that it should. I think those of you that sell know that. I'll pick it up if I find it at the bins and expect to usually get $30 or something for a good piece, but there's a ton of Free People out there that just sucks.
Yeah, sorry I can't show the tags, because sometimes it lets me change pictures. Sometimes
nobody really wants it, and people that spend retail pricing on Free People are crazy. I think the fashion is adorable, and I think a lot of the style is really cute, but I would never pay retail pricing because you can find it so inexpensively elsewhere. So $59, I was okay with $59.
Yeah. All right, just quit looking at the chat.
I can't even.
All right, next up. So I again, like, my biggest sale was an $84 t-shirt, but I actually did have a few decent sales, and this one was on Depop. This Ram football. What do you guys have to say about this shirt? It says Ram football means hard. And then on the back it says Knox, but I'm like, I don't
even know what that means.
Hard knocks. I think because it's football, so they're like they're hitting each other. So it's like hard knocks, but it just says Ram football means hard, and
that's stupid.
It's a bit of a stretch for a slogan on a t-shirt. Anyway, I actually don't remember where I picked this up. But I probably would have paid.
Did you get it Rhode Island? Because URI is the URI Rams.
This is Colorado State Rams, so no.
Oh.
I think I got it in Colorado. So I probably paid at most like $5 for it. But I sold it for the price you see there, $69.99, plus shipping. So it was not a bad little sale. All right, next up for you.
And this is my last one. This actually, I got these in Dallas. I got these with the intention that maybe I would wear them because they're very much my style. We were at a store that sold a lot of items new with tags, and this is one of them. Driftwood is a little bit of a higher end mall brand. And the retail on this was probably $150. I picked them up for $9. And these also sold within like 2 or 3 days for, I think I had them listed for $90 or $89.99, expecting I'd sell them for somewhere around $60. And I got an offer for $81. I'm like, what? That's almost full price. Yes, I'll take that. Thank you, Poshmark person. So yeah, they sold also very quickly. So I did pay up for these. Like I said, I think I paid around $9 or $10 for these at that place.
Nice work. Yeah, they do look like something you would wear. All right, last one for me. This is such a weird thing to sell. I got this at the bins, so I paid I think it's a little bit heavier, but I paid maybe $2 for it. But it's all embroidered, flying on the edge. But this is Air Maui for helicopter tours, and I picked this up and I priced it up. I probably, I think I listed this just before I kind of really drastically started changing how I was pricing things. I probably would have priced this more like $40 or $50 at most, but it sold on Poshmark for $70. I don't know, guys. I don't know.
I mean, it's got a cute graphic, but that's about it.
It does, but it's like a weird, short sleeve denim shirt.
I don't know. Maybe somebody worked for Air Maui.
I don't know.
This is why vintage shit sells. It's nostalgic to somebody. It speaks to somebody.
But I need stuff to sell faster. So, but anyway, but still, it was a nice sale to get on Poshmark for a mediocre week of sales on that platform. I was happy to do it. So,
And what did you pay for it?
I got it at the bins, so
Okay,
I paid
so
like
$2.
$2.
Did it go to Hawaii?
I don't think it did. Anyway, so that's
Allison and Tommy in the chat, thank you for coming
Ignore
back.
them.
Thank you for coming back full force. All we need is Sandra in there as the trifecta because they are
Out of
just
control.
as dirty as you guys are. So
Yeah.
I appreciate the chat. Allison, you always make me laugh. I don't know where you get brown eye from, but I'm very fair haired. We're pink. There's no brown. Anyway.
You're just digging yourself into
I
more
am
of a
digging
hole,
myself
making
into
it
a
more
hole. I'm not even
confusing.
going to say anything anymore.
Anyway, so as far as our goals that we set for last week, I'm still on course doing the 10 listings a day, keeping it up. I want to get ahead. I don't have any in the bank as of this moment. So I have not been able to get past like maybe 15 in the bank and then I use them up. So I really do need to get to that.
All right, Jane, you don't need to weigh in, Jane.
Yeah. I did do all the pictures I said I was going to do last week. I took pictures of like 100 t-shirts. So I have some to list. I probably have like about 100 pieces that still need to be processed and photographed to be listed. So I'm actually pretty good for like the next couple of weeks. But I know Jen has some stuff ready to sell to me, so that I'm going to be coming to you soon, Jen, because I am going to need stuff in the somewhat near future. So I'll have to talk to you sometime in the next week or so. But anyway, so I got to keep on top of that. But one of our big goals last week was we needed to put stuff away. I desperately needed to put away inventory. My inventory room was out of control. I do see that. My inventory room was out of control and had been for quite a while. And I finally got everything put away. Now there's some stuff I need to get like more bins. So I do, not everything is in bins, but it's almost all the t-shirts are put away. I did as much as I possibly can do. I need to get like 4 or 5 more bins and then I can put the rest away. So I think that's going to be my goal for this week is I need to at some point go to Costco and get those bins. And then you had all those items that didn't sell at the thing last week, like 300 pieces, plus you had like 4 or 5 bins of stuff from your lister.
I had over 450 pieces to put away. Mm-hmm. We got every single thing put away. I don't have a single thing that is not put away right now, so that was a huge accomplishment.
We did all that yesterday.
And I have not sourced in weeks. I will be having to source probably next week, the end of this week, beginning of next week. I do have a tote and a half, a bin and a half of clothing to give to my lister, and I don't really like to give her fewer than 75 items, so I do have more to get. So that'll be what I'll be sourcing for soon. But in the meantime, I've been, going through my hard goods and getting them photographed and listed. So I was able to do about 20 listings a day. I would get 10 of the clothing items that I have in my draft bank listed. My draft bank is down to 15.
Hold on, Allison.
My draft bank is down to 15 now.
Yeah.
So I've got a lot more to do as well. And I've been doing, 5 to 10 hard good items listings every day as well. So I did, I'm slowly but steadily getting through that. Now, this entire week, all I have is the hard goods to photograph and list. So I think I'll make a big chunk of that, big chunk of that done.
All right, we got a super chat, Allison. She's like, nothing, pay attention to me. She said, we're both great swords. And then she said, happy 50th birthday, Vikki.
The funny thing is that she's been saying this for like the past 6 years.
Next year it's going to be true.
Next year it actually will be true. But she's been saying happy 50th to me since I was like 42 or 43, which is pretty funny.
Well, if we take her with us to Hawaii, then she'll be able to tell you in person. She'll be there at the moment that you turn 50.
And she will have a cake that says happy 60th. I know Allison. So, I'm actually 49 next week. 49 next Saturday. It's not my birthday? Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday.
So, yeah, I'm almost there. Honestly, I don't even care anymore. I joke about it, but like I'm not loving getting older. But at this point, the different numbers, meh. It's whatever. It's whatever.
Thanks, Allison, for the super chat to make fun of Vikki. That always makes me happy.
Yeah. Thanks, both y'all. Appreciate it.
Anyway, so yeah, so we just got to keep. So I guess that I feel like we pretty much fulfilled the goals that we'd set last week, and I know that was a big difference for you to have all that stuff put away.
Oh, I have
overwhelmed with all this
such
stuff.
anxiety when I have so much stuff to put away. Now, here's the problem is that my inventory is like, here's the thing, even though I'm listing and selling, my inventory hasn't really grown. I think last December I was hovering around 4,700 listings, and I'm just over 4,800 listings right now. So it's honestly, I'm not doing too badly as far as sell-through rate, getting stuff cleared out and sold. As I'm listing it, because I'm not listing as many items in a row. As many items at once, I should say. Like, even though I've done some larger acquisitions, I'm keeping myself to under 15 a day. Could I be listing 30 a day? Sure, I could still be doing that.
Right.
But I'm not seeing a difference in having fresh inventory.
And the whole thing
sales,
that we're doing is all about that consistency. It's like, sure, you could be doing those 30 a day, but you're not going to do 30 a day 7 days a week.
Right.
So you have to kind of
it's better to just be consistent, and in my opinion, and I know other people, whatever. I'm just doing what I can to stay afloat. I do see this big chunk of stuff in my office that I had been piling up for several months the pile is getting lower and lower.
That's good though, because when you focus on hard goods, I feel like you do bring in better sales.
Yeah, I've just recently been selling more, so we'll see. I do have to take some photos, so I'll be taking photos. I hate taking pictures, as you guys know. We talk about this. So I'm not going to be that person that's ever going to photograph 800 things in one day, because if I had to do that, forget it. It would never happen. So I tried to lately been focusing on doing 20 items at a time, and then when I get that chunk of 20 done, then I'm still listing and stuff throughout the day too. So I'm doing what I can to like maintain and continue to grow, but I haven't sourced. I haven't been paying my lister because she's not listing for me in the past 2 to 3 weeks. So I've been saving that money, which is nice. Because at the volume that I'm selling at, to be fair, I really don't need a lister, but I would not do this anymore if I did not have a lister. If I had to go back to photographing and listing clothing myself entirely, I would just go get a job, because I hate it that much.
Yeah.
I love sourcing it. I love selling it. I hate photographing it.
See, and I don't mind it. So anyway, so for moving forward this next week, like I said, I want to complete the putting away of my inventory, but I need to get some bins to do that. And then, but otherwise, like, just kind of keep on it. And I don't know if you have any other.
I mean, that's
plans.
really it. I'm gonna definitely, do all that kind of stuff. So, okay, so Tommy, yes, your boobs start to sag long before you're 50, sweetheart. But the good thing is that I just had a boob job 1.5 years ago, so my boobs are not 50. I had a reduction. I talked about this. Some of you guys know this. So my boobs don't look 50. Every other part of me does. Don't get me wrong, but my boobs don't.
All right, so let's go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out with us. We appreciate it, as always. I think you're going to go take a nap or something after this. I think I'm going to go get a snack and do some listing.
I might. I'm a little bit tired today, and I got a lot of my stuff listed.
That's okay.
Already,
it's Sunday. You can chill.
I might go be lazy. I thought about going in the pool, but it's actually too hot right now.
Yeah.
See, because our pool is just a pop-up pool, so it's only like 3 feet deep, and it gets really warm. So
well, if you go in the afternoon and it's really hot because the sun just beats down on it. So if you go in the afternoon, it's like the water is like warm.
It's like
bath
water.
Mm-hmm. So it's not super refreshing. So you kind of have to go in the morning, like sometime. But we had the landscapers here today.
I was not getting in the pool with the landscapers. So
because I was telling her, I'm like, it's really nice and cool in the morning. So you really should just be going like sometime like mid-morning is probably the best time to do it. But it's all right. I'm keeping on top of it as a pool boy, keeping it clean, keeping it vacuumed, keeping it skimmed, all that stuff.
Yeah. Vanessa, it was nice to see you in the chat, my dear.
Yep, absolutely. All right. No, this is my my
Yacht Rock
Yachtly Crew hat. It is a Yacht Rock band. But yeah, so it is sort of boating related.
Well, it does kind of look like pirate ship.
Yeah, kind of. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We will see you later. We appreciate you.
Everybody enjoy the rest of the
weekend.
We will be back on Sunday. So
yeah.
We are doing a little staycation Friday night for me for my birthday, so I can go in the pool.
Yep.
And
that's it. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.